Welcome to the Goalbusters Expert Peak Productivity Tips podcast, where top business experts get just 7 minutes to answer 5 rapid-fire questions about what they do and how they stay productive. Each episode is packed with actionable insights to help boost your efficiency and achieve your goals. Let's dive in and unlock the secrets to peak performance.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Robin J. Emden and I'm an accountability coach and the author of Get Resultsology, The Science of Getting Stuff Done. I work with people who run their own business. No boss, distractions everywhere, and never enough hours in the day. Together, we cut through the noise, sharpen their focus, and follow through on the big ideas that actually move the needle. That's what I call the momentum formula. Do it today, profit tomorrow, and repeat. So, if that sounds like the kind of breakthrough that you've been looking for, then you're in exactly the right place. And speaking of being in exactly the right place, I am delighted to welcome our guest expert today, Philippa Gamse. Philippa helps CEOs and business owners understand whether their website data is reliable enough to support confident decision making. Philippa is an Amazon best-selling author. Her book, Website Wealth, A Business Leader's Guide to Driving Real Value from Your Analytics, helps leaders turn analytics into clear commercial insight and better strategic choices. Philippa, welcome to Goalbusters.
Thank you. I hope that that sounded ever so technical. I hope that didn't put people off.
No, not at all. We're going to do. It's me that puts people off. I'm sure you won't put people off at all, right? Because we're going to ask you some. We're going to ask you some very straightforward questions, and I always begin with this one, which is: whereabouts in the world are you, Philippa?
So, although I am a Brit, as hopefully everybody can hear, I am currently in Santa Cruz, California.
Fantastic. And us Brits, when we get together, we can bore each other to tears by talking about the weather. And I think we agreed beforehand that we were going to try to avoid that, didn't we? So let's do the questions instead, shall we?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll get the clock up on the screen and there it goes. Philippa, could you please tell me who is your ideal client?
So really, I'm here to help people who have a website, and a website which actually plays a role in their business. So some people, it's true, I think for your audience, that's probably the case. For example, what I mean by that is people that work a lot with government don't typically get business through their website. It's done in other ways, or people who have major referral type businesses. But in general, if you have a website and that website plays a significant role in your business, then I'm here to help you get better results from that site.
Yes. This is me leaning in because I've just spent all day working on my website, so I'm very interested in what you have to say. So what exactly is the problem or the problems that you solve for people who have websites?
Right. So if you have a website, then you need to have website analytics installed and running. And by that, I mean tools like Google Analytics, which of course is free. There are other tools in Europe, Matomo or Piwik are tools that are very popular. But the point is that if you don't have some form of analytics package running on your site, and hopefully something a little bit better than the very basic analytics that are provided by a lot of the platforms, then you're literally flying blind with everything that you're doing with your site. Because even if the site looks great, you don't know what's actually going on. You don't know how many people are coming. You don't know what they're doing. And importantly, you don't know where you're leaking opportunities to make more money, do more business, get people to sign up for your newsletter, whatever it might be, whatever your calls to action are. You don't know how well those are performing, and you don't know where things are going wrong. You don't know where things are going right either, where you might want to do more of those things. So you're literally flying blind. So my message for viewers or listeners is, please, if you're not doing this already, don't fly blind.
Yes, indeed, which leads us nicely, I think, into the third question, which is before they get to the more sophisticated and I'm sure valuable experience of taking advantage of your services, what is one valuable free action that the audience can implement them that at least will help them to solve that problem a little bit for themselves?
So as I said, a program like Google is free. And often if you're using, a platform like Wix or WordPress, You can easily implement it on your site. They have mechanisms to help you do that. And then the trouble is when you log in, it can look very, very intimidating. There's graphs and charts and numbers absolutely everywhere. And the question is, what on earth do you do? But the way to think about this, and I talk about this a lot in my book is entirely in English. There's no graphs, charts, or technical terms. It's a lot of stories and a lot of ideas to help you think about your website strategy and what you're trying to do. And the key thing is to understand that. What is it that I want to happen on my website, and where are the points where somebody who comes to the site should be doing something? So, is there in marketing, we call it a call to action that says, please do this now. So that could be buy something, it could be sign up for my newsletter, it could be click on my Calendly link and let's have a chat, right? But all the places where you're trying to get somebody to do something, that's a good place to start to see whether those things are happening. Because obviously if they're not, there's a problem. And you need to figure what that could be. And sometimes that can be something very simple. One of the biggest problems that I'm seeing on websites right now is that, especially because of mobile devices, we are tending to see very long pages. So you have to scroll quite a long way to get down the complete page. And there are tools that will measure how far down the page people scroll. And typically people don't scroll very far down the page unless it's a really interesting page. So then the problem becomes, well, if you have really important content somewhere down the page and people aren't scrolling, they'll never see it. And so your most important, here's my number one offer that I'm really proud of, could be completely missed. And that's why I'm saying there are really important insights that you couldn't possibly know just by looking at your site. So think about what you're trying to achieve and see what you can find.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to say, I've used Google Analytics for more years than I can care to remember, and I find it thoroughly intimidating even now.
Yes.
It's just really scary. So it's great to hear from someone who knows what they're doing with it. That's brilliant, and I shall definitely explore your book to find out more about it. This sounds great. So now that we have a little bit of a better understanding of what you're doing, and I stress a little bit because that's my fault. I only give you 3 minutes to explain. So let's dive briefly into goal busting as well, which is focusing on how to maximize productive time to achieve your business goals. Philippa, could you share any tips or advice for someone looking to improve their productivity habits, please?
No, I am absolutely hopeless at productivity stuff. I find it, I'm sorry, you asked me, so I'm telling you, I find it unbelievably boring. I'm probably fine as long as you don't tell me I'm doing productivity. I do get stuff done, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be in business. But honestly, I'm not the right person to give tips on this.
That's great, actually, and that's a perfectly valid answer. It's not an uncommon answer. You may be surprised to hear, and it is a genuine. Thank you for highlighting the issue. But and of course, we all do still manage to get things done. But all right, yeah, I accept that question. Your answer is perfectly valid and perfectly reasonable. Thank you very much. So, but finally, you shouldn't have too much trouble with the final question, because the question is, what should I have asked you today that I didn't ask you? And could we have your answer, please?
Well, you kind of did, because the key question for most people is look, this is intimidating and there's way too much of it. Where do I start? And the one thing that I would say to people is, there are so many metrics. It's tempting to measure every metric. Don't do that. Hone in on something that's important to you, like one call to action or one outcome or one page that you're trying to get people to notice, and just work on that. See if you can dig out some data that will help you to do that. But please don't try to measure everything at once, because that will just make your mind completely explode, and it's not helpful.
Yes, I think my mind exploded in about 2011, and it's still not recovered from trying to work it all out. Philippa, thank you so much. That's been amazing. And it's not often I come across someone with a very distinct area of expertise. I'll get rid of the clock. We don't need that anymore. And so it's a delight, actually, to hear from you and to speak to someone who says that they know what they're doing with it all, because I definitely don't. I often nod in agreement with my guests and go, yes, I know what you're talking about. All I can say is I know the problems that you've identified, but unlike you, I personally do not have the solutions, and it's lovely to meet someone that does. So on that note, how can people get in touch with you, because I think that you'd find there are a lot of people out there that could use your services. And also, is there like a valuable free resource that they could get from you as well? And I always say this is being British, another fellow Brit, a bit cheeky, but actually I'm being quite serious, because some people aren't quite ready to jump in with both feet and get in touch. They like to find out a little bit more about what you do. And please, speaking of which, do tell us about your book. I love books and it sounds fascinating.
Yeah, available at all good bookstores and Amazon and so on. Website Wealth, a business leader's guide to driving real value from your analytics. And that title does sound intimidating, but honestly, it really is entirely in English. Lots of stories, lots of examples, no charts and graphs. So my website, of course, is under construction like everybody else's. So I actually, my main mode of contact is LinkedIn. And I think I'm actually the only person in the entire world with this name, Philippa Games. So if you look up Philippa Games on LinkedIn, you will definitely find me, and please do connect. I do like connecting with people. And I do have a free offer, which is called an inside-outside leak check. So it is actually a call with me, but it's entirely free. And it's just 15 minutes that anybody is welcome to book. And what I do is, now I don't have access to your analytics, obviously, but what I will do is look at your site with you and show you some of the typical areas where I know that stuff goes wrong very quickly, such that if you were looking at your analytics, these are the places that I would immediately check. That will just give you an idea of some of the places to look for. And if you want to dig more deeply, we can do that. But, just have somebody else with a hopefully more expert eye, just take a look at the site and tell you where your risk areas might be, can sometimes just be really helpful to get you started.
Yes, and you'll be amazed what you can get through in 15 minutes. It's actually can be a very valuable use of your time, and so it's certainly very valuable to you. So thank you so much for offering that.
Yeah, the link to book that is on my LinkedIn profile.
And we can find that by going to Philippa Games, and as you say, it is a unique spelling, so we will put that on the screen. It's large as life. It's been on the screen the whole time, actually, but it's also in the for people just listening, it'll be in all the descriptions for the podcast as well, so people will not have any problem finding that. Philippa Games, thank you so much for appearing on Goalbusters today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. Great fun. Lovely to talk to somebody in the sunny south of England.
Yeah, not so much sunny, but as I was saying earlier, lovely to talk to someone in sunny California. And you said, well, no, not quite that way either. So oh my goodness, we're talking about the weather again. Trust us Brits to get together and do that. Philippa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And remember, everybody, keep goal busting and make your future self proud. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Goalbusters. If you're enjoying it, please subscribe, rate and review it on your favourite podcast platform. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you're ready to boost your online profits, skyrocket your productivity, crush procrastination and see a positive change in your bank balance, all within just 30 days, this is your opportunity. Take my free 5-day challenge at www.skyrocketyourproductivitychallenge.com.